Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to take some really old philosophy and turn it into a super practical guide for your relationships right now.
So let me ask you something. Is love just a feeling? Something that just happens to you, like a lightning strike or this huge wave of emotion? Most of us think so, right? But what if that's just completely wrong? What if love isn't something you find at all, but something you actually build?
Well, that's exactly what the ancient Stoics thought. They saw love as an action, a skill, something you can practice and actually get better at. Seriously, they believed you could improve at loving someone. So, yeah, let's dive into their guide. Okay, first things first. The Stoic journey to finding love, it doesn't start with swiping on an app or looking for someone else. Nope, it starts by looking inward. The whole idea is, before you can ever be a good part of a we, you've got to get a real handle on the I.
And the philosopher Montaigne just nailed this idea. He said he'd rather be an authority on himself than on some famous guy like Cicero. Think about that. Before you can ever really understand another person, you have to become an expert on yourself, the good, the bad, and all your blind spots.
And this is the big shift right here. Our whole culture is obsessed with finding the one. It's all external, it's passive, and honestly, it's mostly luck. But the Stoics, they flip that completely. Their approach is about being the one. That's an internal focus. It's an active process of making yourself better, and it depends entirely on the work you put in.
So, this forces us to ask a really tough question and be honest with yourself here. Are you really the catch you think you are? And look, this has nothing to do with looks or money. It's about the real stuff. Are you actively working on being kind, patient, understanding? Are you actually enjoying the process of becoming a better person? Because the big takeaway is simple. The absolute best way to attract a great partner is to become one yourself. All right, so once you've started doing that work on yourself, you get to what is, you could argue, the single most important decision you will ever make in your life: choosing who you're going to share it with. Think about this for a second. Winston Churchill, a guy who made decisions that literally shaped the course of world history. And what did he think was his greatest stroke of luck? His single best decision? Marrying his wife Clementine. He truly believed it was the foundation for everything else he ever accomplished. And what's so important here is how she was such a great partner. She wasn't just there to cheer him on. No way. She was his emotional ballast, the thing that kept the ship steady. She wasn't afraid to challenge him or call him out when he was messing up. She actively, consciously made him a better man and a better leader. And that right there, that's the Stoic ideal of a marriage. It's so much more than a piece of paper. It's a true partnership where your souls are blended and you both become better people just by being together. It's like building a fortress against all the crazy stuff life throws at you. So, what's the lesson? Look for a partner based on their character, not just chemistry. Find someone who makes you better and someone you can help make better too. Okay, so you've done the self-work, you've chosen wisely, that's the foundation, but the house isn't built yet. The real work is in the doing. It's about the daily practice of love. And this is where the Stoic mindset really flips the script on how most of us think about relationships. It takes that classic question, what am I getting out of this? And it throws it right out the window. Instead, the focus becomes, what can I give? It's all about contributing, serving, and actually finding real joy in making your partner's life better. Listen to this from the Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus. He said a good marriage is basically a friendly competition where each person is trying to be more devoted than the other. Just imagine that for a second. A relationship where you're both trying to outgive each other. And maybe the most powerful way to show that devotion is with the one thing you can never, ever get back: your time. You've heard it, right? Love is spelled T-I-M-E. It is the greatest gift you can possibly give someone, your full, undivided attention. Look, your calendar doesn't lie. It tells the real story of what you prioritize. The point is, love isn't some passive feeling. It's an active choice you make, day in and day out. But let's be real. Nobody's perfect. So, of course, no relationship is going to be perfectly smooth all the time. There's going to be friction. So what do you do then? Well, the Stoics had this surprisingly simple but really profound strategy for this exact problem. And this idea is just perfectly captured in a piece of advice that Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg got on her wedding day. She said it was one of the keys to her 56-year marriage, and it's an incredible metaphor for a core Stoic idea.
So what does that even mean, to be a little deaf? Well, it means you have to consciously choose your battles. It means letting the small stuff go. Maybe pretending you didn't even hear that little sarcastic comment. It's about refusing to make every little thing into a big thing. Why? Because the only thing you ever really control is your own reaction. You can't control them, but you can always control you. And let me tell you, choosing peace over being right, that's a relationship superpower.
All right, and that brings us to the final and maybe the biggest challenge. How do you keep this thing going? How do you maintain love for the long haul through decades of all the ups and downs life is going to throw at you? The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, he knew it. He wrote that nature's favorite thing to do is to change what is. And that applies to us too. The person you fell in love with, they're not going to be the same person in 5 years, or 10, or 20. And guess what? Neither are you. And fighting that change is just pointless.
And that understanding leads to this really powerful Stoic practice. It's called memento mori. Remember you will die, but we're applying it to love. It's the practice of actively remembering that this relationship, like everything, is finite. It will end one day. Now I know that sounds super grim, right? But stick with me.
Because the purpose is the exact opposite of being morbid. It's not about pushing them away, it's about pulling you into the now. It's meant to inspire this deep sense of presence. Because when you truly get that your time together is limited, it makes everything more precious. Every conversation, every boring Tuesday night on the couch, every little inside joke.
And that all boils down to this one ultimate Stoic question. A question that's really a tool to help you love with more intention. Just ask yourself this: how would you love today if you knew it could be your last day together? What would you do differently? What would you say? And maybe more importantly, what silly little thing would you just let go of? It's a question that isn't about some far-off future. It's designed to change how you love, starting right now.